I just got to my favorite place, I think now, in Tampa, Florida, Gulf Coast Divers. Let me give you a quick look around the shop. We're going to start over here. Right up here on front, they've got everything you can need for a Save a Dive kit. Tank bangers, hate them, but if you need one, they're good to have. Bolt snaps. They got fin straps, mouthpieces. Got anti-fog. They also got hoses. They've got safety sausages out the wazoo. So everybody, don't go out with your safety sausage. You know, boats hit people. They're not paying attention, and they're all drunk. I mean, not all of them, but a lot of them. So make sure you got your marker buoy with you whenever you go out. They're not that expensive, and it'll save your life. This is what I'm here today for, is the ScubaPro dive regulator. This here is your first stage. This is your second stage. This is what keeps you alive. You don't want to go to the Philippines and dive in something, you know, that somebody else may have puked in or they've been spitting in. It's just not sanitary, you know, in my opinion. And it's good to have your own gear because, you know, renting stuff is expensive. And by the time you buy your own, and by the time you rent, you can have bought your own. And they got the best prices in town here. I've been all over the place, and nobody's going to treat you better. Also, they've got your regulators. They got regulators with computers. They got regulators with compass, with computer, and with depth gauge. They've got an all-in-one right here, dive computer. Like I said, they got a full assortment. This one would be here, but we bought it. That's the 2-gauge mini console because we're going to have a dive computer. Right here, you can see they carry all these ScubaPro. Everything I think they carry in here is pretty much ScubaPro. So you can't go wrong with the ScubaPro brand. And like I say, they've got a full selection of all your different belt accessories, back straps. And of course, they've got BCDs for miles. They've got all the beautiful BCDs here. And these are fantastic. They got the pink for the ladies. They've got classic black and blue. I mean, you can't go wrong. That's what most people are looking for. They've got the, I think this is a 5mm ScubaPro Everflex. I think that's a 5mm, 5 or 7mm. Everything here, I think, is ScubaPro. What is this? Yeah. This is a, I don't know. Yeah, there's a 3mm. Wow, that's a nice suit. And they just got them lined up down the wall right here. As you can see, they got a full assortment, and the prices are great. Prices are great. And I wouldn't go anywhere else. Would not go anywhere else in town. Everybody else has got junk. They've got booties right here. You look here, they've got more BCDs. You can't go diving without a BCD, folks. And you can't buy one anywhere else but here because nobody's going to treat you any better. I'm here to tell you. It's been my experience. Let's look over here. They got dive hoods. Got dive hoods, all different sizes of dive hoods, dive booties. You don't want to put your foot in a swim fin without booties. Why? Well, you put your foot in here and you kick all day long. This is hard plastic. I'm not saying it wouldn't, you can't do it, but you don't want to put your foot in there necessarily without having this on your foot. Also, when you're walking to and from your dive site, you're going to want to protect your feet if you're on rocky shores. There's seashells. You never know. So do yourself a favor and put on some nice booties, because also the booties have a lot to do with the way your swim fins go on your foot. When you buy your swim fins, make sure and buy them a little big. If you're buying online, especially if you want to avoid having to send them back 1,000,000 times, buy your booties first, fit those to your feet, and then come to Gulf Coast Divers, and you can look at an assortment of their swim fins. They've got everything from free diving fins or your scuba fins. They've got free diving fins. They got split fins. Of course, they got snorkels. They're going to say, who uses a snorkel? Well, you want to use a snorkel if you want to save on air. So they got all these beautiful different colors. You know, I said beautiful, like, you know, some people care about color. And, you know, you want to not only feel good and have fun, but look good too. And you can do that here. Also, they've got a wide assortment of masks. I can tell you by looking at these that I overpaid for my mask, but that's a different story because I went to the wrong shop. I didn't come here first and I paid a price. But they do have all the ScubaPro accessories. So if you want to be a ScubaPro all the way around, That's pretty much all that they sell here. They've even got beach balls. Man, who don't love a beach ball? They've got your extra straps. If you ever go out and break a strap, you're going to wish you had an extra. They've got cleaner and conditioner for your wetsuit. You want to take care of your wetsuit, it costs a lot of money. Also, you want to make sure you get a free hug. Come on in. The hugs are free all day long. And also, my favorite, stickers. Who don't love stickers? And they've got a wide assortment of stickers right here, all the way around. And then if you come in, make sure and ask for this guy. I've been had a really good experience with Connor Myers. If you get a chance to come in and see him, they're really nice people. Plus, look at all these places they can offer to dive. They got full dive services here. They're dive masters. And they got plenty of dive masters on staff to help you with all of your needs. Looky here. I've already got some things checked out. I've got 4 stickers on the counter. I've even got some defog for my mask. And you never know. I may get something else, but here in a minute, we're going to be checking out. And I'm going to let Connor tell you what we've got. And we're going to show you the dive regulators before we leave. So hang on. We'll be right back in just a minute. Tell me what we've got here, buddy.
So we are a ScubaPro.
This is Connor, by the way.
Hey, everybody. So this is we're primarily a ScubaPro dealer. So we're setting them up with a Mark II. It's a first stage Mark II and an S270 for a primary rig. I also got an XS Scuba Octo for him. And then we're just doing a standard 2 gauge, so a depth and PSI gauge on both sets. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
And this is going to be for me and the wife. And if you guys ever come in, ask for Connor. I've been all over Tampa trying to find a decent dive shop. I'm not saying there's not decent dive shops all over there, but I'm telling you, they're not as good as this dive shop. And they're not going to treat you as well as Connor has treated me. Because there's a lot of things I don't know. And if you're going diving, there's definitely, you want to have somebody to tell you the things that you don't know. So we're going to get checked out here, spend a lot of money, and then I'm going to go home and I'm going to show you what not to buy. So anyway, I'll be seeing you guys soon at the house. Well, I finally made it back home, and I just wanted to take a few minutes and show you the good. Well, first I'm going to show you the bad, the ugly, and then I'm going to show you the good. So today we were at Gulf Coast Divers, and we talked to Matt, who is the owner, really great guy. Thanks for the shirt. And we talked to Connor. He's the guy who was able to put together the pretty part of what we're going to look at here in just a second. So first, a little bit of advice. If you're buying scuba gear, especially regulators, I would encourage you not to buy them secondhand because it's really hard to get service for older secondhand regulators. And here's a perfectly good example. I purchased these Mabrys. This is the first stage. This is really old. If you'll look here, this purge button, it sticks. And that causes what you would end up with a free flow situation, and where you would have to be sipping air. And this is not something you would want to happen. And if you didn't know what you were buying, if you didn't have it serviced, you'd end up in the water. If you didn't get it serviced after purchasing this, you would end up in the water with a free flow, and it would ruin your dive, and it just would not be a good situation. And if this piece is in that kind of condition, then most likely this, which is your alternate air source, it's probably just as bad. It doesn't stick, but it ain't far from it. This stuff I found out is about 10 years old, and I was told by the guy who I was buying it from that it was 4 years old. Now, he may not have known how old it was. I'm just saying it wasn't what I thought it was. And this is the first stage, which to look at it, it's pretty and it's shiny, and it has a dust cap on it. And it has an LPI hose, and it's got a gauge. And to look at it, if you didn't know what you were looking at, it looks okay. But I took it to several different dive shops, and you can't get replacement parts for it. Mabrys is not something that Mabrys. It's not. There's not that many people in the Tampa Bay area who service it. It's really expensive to send it off and have it worked on, and in most cases, they don't even make parts for this anymore. So what I ended up with is a bunch of hoses this is pretty much just junk. It's going to be a decoration or go in the garbage. So, and what is the best, when I took it in to Gulf Coast Divers, you know, they could have said you're an idiot, you know, which actually I was for getting it. But they could have said that, but they weren't. They were really nice, and they said, you know, there's better stuff out there that might not get you killed whenever you go diving. So thank you, Connor, for not hurting my feelings whenever I brought in this mess. So what happened is I brought this mess to them, and I ended up, after I told them about our upcoming trip to the Philippines, and telling them where we're going to be diving, they said, you know what, you're going to be in the ocean, you're going to be in a really, really nice place, and let me tell you about rental equipment. Rental dive equipment has been puked in, slobbered in by no telling how many people, and dive regulators need to be serviced every year, year and a half, or every 100 dives. And if this is a busy dive center that you're going to, and if they're not as up on their maintenance as they could be, then these things may be getting 100 dives and they might not ever get serviced, because not every dive center is a service center. So if you can, it's not a bad idea, especially if you're going to be doing a lot of diving, to invest in your own dive regulators. This is life support equipment. So after a good conversation with Connor at Gulf Coast Divers, which is the only dive shop we'll go to now, we ended up purchasing some brand new, a set for my wife and a set for my wife and a set for myself, a brand new set of ScubaPro regulators. And a set of regulators has different parts that come with it. And I'm not a dive master, so I'm going to give you my best description of this was the good and the bad and the ugly. Well, this is the best. This is the ScubaPro Mark II. This is a yoke style first stage. This is the part that actually connects to your tank, and it is the part that takes air, which is compressed at 3,000 psi, and it reduces that pressure to something that you can breathe. If you were to take that air and to shoot it into your lungs at 3,000 psi, well, it would not be pretty. So it reduces the pressure to a system of springs and valves in here, and then it sends it out to the different mechanisms. Well, this is the first stage, the piece that goes in your mouth. The first stage we got is a ScubaPro Mark II yoke style first stage. The second stage is the ScubaPro S270. ScubaPro S270. It's an all polymer balanced second stage. It's very light. This is something you would use in tropical waters where we're going to be going. It's very light. It's very easy to operate. It's got a very nice adjustable airflow right here on top. It's also got a very nice spongy non-sticking purge valve on the front. This is a very, very nice regulator, and we got a fantastic price on that. Also, when you're diving, you have to have an alternate air source. What happens if something goes wrong with this, or, which is very unlikely, or if your dive buddy, if something happens and they run out of air, then you need to have an alternate air source to supply them with air in the event that they run out. And so this is the XS Scuba Alt Air. It's smaller than this second stage. It's smaller because it doesn't need to be as big. You don't actually need to, if you don't have to, you don't need to really buy a second stage to be your alternate air source. And XS Scuba did a really good job of making this alt air secondary air system, what you call your octo, that you can tuck right here under your arm. It's also got a clip that you can clip it onto your BC. And then lastly, they were able to outfit us with another ScubaPro, a set of ScubaPro gauges. So along with your dive computer, you've got on top here, you've got your depth gauge, which goes down to 200 feet, which is more than enough for any of us recreational divers. Even for a tech diver, you would have a good gauge that would go all the way down to 200 feet. And then down here is your pressure gauge, which measures 1,000 bar all the way up to, 1,000 psi all the way up to 6,000 psi. So you've got a very nice ScubaPro pressure gauge and depth gauge all right here together in one unit, and it's got clip points where you can use a bolt snap to connect it to your BC. Also, that's important to clip it off because you don't want this to dangle, just free dangle, because it can damage this very expensive piece of equipment. Also, this glows in the dark, which is very, very, very nice, especially if you're going to be on a night dive, if you're an advanced open water diver, or if you just like to dive in, someplace where it might be a little darker. This actually was glowing in my hallway earlier whenever I in the hallway here in my house, just walking down the hall. So this is a very, very nice rig. We were able to get 2 of these at a fantastic price. If you want to know the price, I would encourage you to call Gulf Coast Divers here in Tampa Bay, and they would be more than happy. Talk to Connor, and he'll be able to get you fixed up. But I would encourage you to try to avoid the mess and go with the best. The ScubaPro Mark II first stage, the ScubaPro S270 second stage, the Alt Air by XS Scuba. This is your secondary air supply source, and also the ScubaPro 2-gauge setup. I'd appreciate you guys out there at Gulf Coast Divers for helping me out. Thank you for not calling me an idiot. I walked in feeling like an idiot, but you were very nice. So I had a great time in your shop today. Thank you for the stickers. Thank you for the free shirt. I really like it. I look forward to wearing that whenever we go diving in the Philippines. And I look forward to going back next week. They've invited me to come back and to take a video whenever I go to get my Save a Dive kit put together. So there's more to come on what a Save a Dive kit is and why that's important. Well, I appreciate you guys watching me. It's been a long day. I'm fixing to go have my supper. My wife is tired of me shooting videos for the day. So if you would please like this video if you like it. Subscribe. I'm trying to break that 100 subscriber barrier, which seems to be almost impossible right now. So I really appreciate more subscribers. But until next time, until next week, this is Matthew, M&M Travels, and God bless.